through to the main part. We've gone through that. Breathing is important. Take slow, controlled breaths. Don't think like, oh, this is so dumb. Like, really try to engage. This is really fun stuff, especially for me. Think in terms of concentric and eccentric. So when you're doing a bench press, you're not gonna try to breathe in when you're going up. So again, think in terms of concentric and eccentric. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm gonna go through a few poses with you. So we're gonna start in mountain, which is one of the easiest ones. Just arms back, pretty much anatomical position. Chest up, chest high. And then our sun salutations are just a series of yoga poses. Can you hear me? They're just a series of the yoga poses used to improve strength and flexibility. Hence for doing some. Plank, each of you know what a plank is, correct? Okay, upward dog. Okay, so this is upward dog. Downward dog, you're just going to push your rear to the back wall, driving your heels into the ground, and trying to make everything as flat as possible. So you're trying to be a V. Next, the tabletop is just simply being as flat, neutral neck, neutral spine. Cat-cow. So the cow, you're going to round, or yes, no. Round.
Round's cat.
Yes, thank you. Round
Think about an
cat.
angry one.
And then up, head, that would be, it's extending, but really in anatomical, it's hyperextending. So we're going to flex and hyperextend the neck. And then warrior one. This way. So you want your front heel to be kind of in that little groove of your back foot. So this foot is going to be parallel with the wall, while this foot is perpendicular, and you're right here. And then for warrior two, simply twist open, facing front. And then triangle, you're going to straighten out that leg, dip forward, looking up at your hand. Okay, you ready to get started? Let me see what I can take out of this so we can get most of it.
I'll be going through these so you guys can kind of follow along.
We're going to take out the cat-cow and just go straight into mountain and get the warrior twos and warrior one in there. Okay, so we're going to hit mountain pose. Go ahead and scroll down to the second page. Mountain pose, deep breath in the nose, out the mouth. Alright, so sun salutation. We're going to bring our arms up. Inhale. And swan dive. Exhale. If you can't touch the ground, just go as far as you can. Hit the ground, come back up to flat back. Drop the hands, exhale. And collapse into a plank. So think about if you're trying to go under a pin. So we're going to dip and go into upward dog. You're going to take those toes into plantar flexion. Alright, tuck those toes under. And push
Y'all listen.
your rear end back to the back wall. Yeah. Really, really drive those heels into the ground. Are you breathing? Alright, come back to plank. Alright, and go back into downward dog, push. Now walk your hands to your feet, or feet to your hands, I'm sorry. Up, next one back up, back down to mountain. Breathe again. Alright, so now we're going to really go into doing the warrior one, warrior two, so we can try to get you guys out of here about time. Okay, so here we go. Up. Breathing in, exhale, swan dive. Hit the pull. Come back up to flat back, collapse. heels into the ground. Alright, come back to plank for me and step forward, bringing your left foot in between your hands. Come up to a runner's lunge. Alright, now take that back right foot and turn it. And swing those arms up to warrior one. Breathe. Alright, open up into warrior two. Relax those shoulders. Alright, now I want you to straighten out your front leg and tilt your T and touch the ground. Look up to that right hand. Where do you feel it?
Everywhere.
Yes, hamstring. If you cannot touch the ground, you can touch your shin, you can touch your knee, whichever is comfortable for you. Alright, bend that knee. Come back up into warrior two. Alright, take your right hand, you're going to swing it down. Back to warrior one. Palms on the ground. Step back. Upward dog under the fence. Plantar flex the toes. Tuck those toes under. Push back into downward dog. Drive all those heels to the floor. Alright, come back to plank. And now we're going to do the other side. Bring that right foot in between your hands. Runner's lunge. Alright, turn that left foot. Arms up. Warrior one. Are you breathing? Alright, open up into warrior two. Relax those shoulders. Breathe deep. Try to get deep in that lunge if you can. Good job. Alright, and straighten out that front leg. Go down into triangle. Keep looking up at that top hand. Good. Alright, bend that front leg. Swing that knee back up. Alright, take your left hand, swing it down. Come back up into warrior one. And we're going to go back to runner's lunge. Step back into plank. And this one's, I want to do this for fun just because we have time left. This is called chaturanga. So go like you're going under the fence and stay there, but do not touch the ground. So we're going under the fence, stay. Alright, come back up. Sorry. Come back up into upward dog. Tuck those toes. Push back to downward dog. Okay, now we're going to take our heels and alternate, pushing each one into the floor. So kind of relax that left foot and drive that right heel into the ground. Are you getting more of a stretch? Alright, now switch. Relax that right leg, drive that left heel into the floor. Alright, go back to both. Alright, and walk your feet to your hands. Coming up, breathe in. Out. Alright, we're going to do this one more time, but we're going to end with the rubber band and corpse pose, which are my two favorites. So we're going to go back to the ground. So inhale. Exhale, swan dive. Pull. Come back up to flat back. Collapse into plank. Alright, so we're going to do this slow. We're going to drop our knees. Going to turn on to either side. It doesn't matter. Flip over on your back. And lay down flat. You don't really have to see me for this one. So take your hands above your head, straight above your head. If you see me, yeah. Take your hands together. Pull straight above your head and act like your tie. And first thing I want you to do is think about your toes. Let those relax. Relax your feet. Think about your ankles. Just melt into the mat like you have nothing going on in your body except your breath. Relax your knees, your kneecaps, all those quads, hamstrings. Relax your hips. Just let those sink into the mat. Relax your spine. Relax your ab muscles. Relax your shoulder blades into the mat. Close your eyes. Slowly breath. Relax your nose. Relax your ears. Relax your cheeks. How you feel? You feel chilled? Alright, y'all are done.
Alright guys, I guess Chelsea already introduced us. My name is Jared Whitmire. Obviously you just met Chelsea. First I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about strength and endurance and why that's important. I know a lot of people, they go into the gym, especially when they first get here, if they haven't been in sports before, they're a little confused. They're like, where do I start? What should I begin with? So I'm going to try and provide some clarity for you guys here. Thanks. Okay, first off, what are the benefits? Well, have you guys ever heard the term ADL? Does anyone know in here what ADL means? No? Alright. Well, ADL just stands for Activities of Daily Life. So, waking up, getting out of bed, carrying your backpack to class. Sometimes people have difficulty doing that, believe it or not. So some of the benefits of resistance training are improving that activity of daily life, improve muscular fitness, decreased chance of heart disease, believe it or not, improve blood pressure, cholesterol, brain power. Actually, just the other day, I follow ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine, on Twitter, and they release studies pretty much every week, saying how exercise can benefit the brain and the cognitive ability. Decreased stress, this is a big one for me. When I'm feeling stressed out, like now, going to the gym helps me, decompress and get over some of that. Increased bone density. Does anyone know what osteoporosis is in here? Hands. Alright, someone tell me what osteoporosis is.
Bone loss as you get older.
Bone loss? Okay, yeah. Alright, so that's exactly what it is. So you're losing your bone mineral density, basically. So does anyone know a good way to increase bone mineral density? Resistance training, maybe? Alright, so, and a lot of you guys are probably looking at me like, I don't really have to worry about that right now. I mean, that's not until I'm like 70 years old, right? Well, your bone mineral density will stop reproducing so your best chance of improving those numbers are right now. When you get to 25, your body starts pulling from that bone bank, if you can believe it. So right now is really the best chance for you guys to do something like that.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Also, it's more prevalent in women than in men. So, ladies, don't be scared to resistance train. It's okay. Strong is sexy too. I know pretty much women want to exercise for the aesthetic reasons, just for the physical appearance. But also think about in the long run, like you were saying, from 18, 17 to 25, that's the most prevalent time in your life to get your bones right for later in life. So, ladies, keep that in mind.
Decreased body fat. Does anyone have an idea of how this might work? Well, if you have more muscle mass, right, you increase the caloric demand of your body, correct? So you have to intake more calories to maintain weight. So if you have more body mass, you're going to burn more calories if you think of it that way. Good body mass. Go ahead to the next. Variety equals success. This can cause some confusion in the gym. A lot of times people walk into the gym and they're like, oh my gosh, there's this thing, what do I do? Should I do this amount of reps, this amount of sets? my buddy's doing CrossFit, that seems right, should I do that? And really, there's no right or wrong answer, and it all comes back to your goals that you should set. But I'll get to that a little later. But I just want to emphasize that the gym has a lot of different things that you can utilize. Medicine balls, elastic bands, body weight exercises. You can go ahead. I just wanted to emphasize that. Definitions. Do I need to go over what a set and a rep is? Does everyone here understand that? Mm-hmm. All right. I'll go ahead just in case there's someone that doesn't know, just in case. But a set refers to how many times you'll repeat that exercise with a set number of repetitions. Repetition defines the number of times you perform an exercise. So say I'm doing bench press, and I'm doing 3 sets, and then I'll do 12 reps. Since you guys seem to have a good understanding of that, I'll just glaze over that. Volume and load, do you guys understand that? Yeah. Okay, so volume is the amount of exercises we're doing, and the load is the amount of resistance applied, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm doing 12 exercises, and I have set amount of load, or whatever that is. I'm doing 25 pounds dumbbell curls, something like that. Go ahead. All right. Types of muscular training. We have isometric training, functional training, dynamic, and isokinetic. Do you guys run over isometrics?
Yes.
All right, so you guys understand those?
All of them.
Okay. Well, that's good. I just want to make sure I understand what you guys are going over. Functional training, those go back to those ADLs. Dynamic, those are the typical things that you guys think of when you see, the hordes of guys going to the gym doing dumbbell curls. Isokinetic training. Basically, how many of you guys go to 10 Fitness? That's good. All right, have you guys seen the sled? The push sled by the kind of CrossFit section? All right, that's an example of an isokinetic movement, just to give you guys an idea. You can go ahead. All right, machines versus free weights. All right, how many of you guys, can you guys give me some benefits and cons of both?
Free weights are real.
Either one.
Machines make sure your form is right.
Yes, all right, that's very good. So if you're not comfortable doing free weights, you can always do a machine. You know you're doing the right movement as long as you're correct on the machine. What about free weights? What's the benefit of those?
They're related to real life activity.
Real life activity. Also, you're using that weight isn't attached to a machine, so all of a sudden it's in free space, right? So you're pushing that weight, and your muscles are having to stabilize to push that weight, correct? So that's just a little bit, personally, I usually start off with a multi-joint movement, and then I use some free weights, and then towards the end I might go to machines. Not to downgrade machines, but that's just my goals, how I want to do it. But machines are good for, everyday use. But that's that, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Concentric versus eccentric. Have we gone over this?
Yes.
Okay, so concentric, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about that. The concentric movement, you can just think of a dumbbell curl, right? I have my arm down here, and then what's the up movement then? Eccentric or concentric, right? All right, so it's the concentric movement going up. So going down would then be the eccentric. I'll give you guys a hint for all you guys who want to make big biceps. The eccentric movement is more important for hypertrophy. You guys know what hypertrophy is? Okay, so muscle growth. So that eccentric movement, I've kind of come up with the phrase time under tension. The amount of time under tension, so the more that you slow down that movement, the more time your muscles under that tension. So therefore your muscles are going to activate more muscle spindles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it gets bigger. All right, so go on. Next. All right, so I'm going to go on to some progressive overload. I use this because I thought it best described this theory, or not theory, but law. All right, so you have this guy, he's a farmer, and he's carrying this calf to his dad. Over time, that calf gets bigger, or ox, or whatever that thing is, and it gets bigger, so therefore that load increases, right? So then he gets bigger in response. So this is how weightlifting works. If you want to see results, initially, you choose a weight that you're comfortable doing, you reap the benefits of those results, and then all of a sudden it becomes easy, right? So either you have to increase the amount of reps you do, or you have to increase the load to reap more benefits. So we go on. I'm going to I can never say this word.
Specificity.
Yeah. Only muscles trained will adapt and change in response to a given program. So only the muscles that you are specifically training for are going to adapt. If I have a sprinter, I'm going to focus on speed, skills, and muscular power. I'm going to focus on stuff that's going to make him better at his sport. So that's why it always is important for you to go to the gym to have a goal in mind of what you want to accomplish, right? So then you can be specific. So, well, if I'm training to be a runner, I'm going to focus on increasing the strength and power of my legs as well as the skills involved, right? All right, so go on. Variation. This is pretty much saying that you need to change your workouts over time. You can't do the same workout over and over again without expecting to get to improve, I guess you should say. And one way we can do that is periodization. So you have to push it twice. Okay. All right, so periodization. How many of you guys were in athletics in high school? So you guys are familiar a little bit with periodization. We have like a preseason, off-season, in-season, and all that. So you have different goals set during those seasons, right? Maybe off-season you're actively resting. You're not wanting to really overdo your body or you risk overtraining, right? Preseason, you're going to focus on getting bigger, hypertrophy, and then preseason, you're going to do a lot more skill stuff. Then in season, you're going to maintain. You're going to try and be able to be at that performance level at any time, right? Okay, so that's periodization kind of in a nutshell. And then also, these are just, you have to push it like 4 times. These are just the things that you would try and change in a strength training resistance training program. All right, so these are the basic guidelines set forth for maintaining the ACSM, which is the American College of Sports Medicine. They recommend to maintain where you're at 2 consecutive days in a week, 1 set, 8 to 12 reps. So those are just the bare minimum. So if you're looking to stay where you are, these are kind of, well, it kind of becomes tricky because if you're accustomed to doing workouts and then you go to this, you're obviously going to degress or reverse. So you can go on. Muscle strength, I have the load sets reps up here. You're going to want to focus on multi-joint activities, high intensity before low intensity. It's kind of how I said earlier, I usually start with something that's involving more than one joint movement, and then I progress down maybe later to machines or something like that. Okay, next, hypertrophy, a little bit higher 1 RM. You're going to want to push that weight, but you're going to want to have longer rest periods, right? Because you're pushing a heavier amount of weight. All right, so you go next. Muscular power, kind of the same thing. Endurance, the big thing here, and this is what I really like to focus on because I like to be fast and I like my movements to be real fluid. I'm not really focusing on hypertrophy that much, so I usually do a lot of reps in my workouts, and then my rest period is a lot lower, so I'm kind of getting an aerobic workout kind of at the same time as my muscular endurance. So we go on.
You're done.
Oh, sweet. I'll leave it over to Chelsea here.
All right, so we've already talked about this, but which one of these do you think is overlooked more than the other 2? Most definitely. I mean, we focus so much on being strong, being fit,
I know, you're okay.
getting our heart rate up, but we tend to overlook the flexibility aspect. Okay, so some of the benefits of stretching can offset age-related stiffness. Again, he had said earlier, we're not really thinking about that, but kind of think of later on when you are wanting to tend your garden or do things like that. And honestly, I have been out of high school for 5 years. I'll be 23 on Friday, and my flexibility from high school to now, that's a tiny 5-year difference, has gone way down because I simply haven't utilized it. And now that I'm in this major, I've started to increase that and, thinking long term about my flexibility. To improve athletic performance, enhance muscle coordination, I watched this YouTube video. It was about yoga and baseball. I had no idea what poses in yoga you could utilize in baseball. So, for example, Warrior 2. Think about a pitcher. What does he do? Isn't that crazy? Like it blew my mind. I know it's something so simple, but just simple poses like that can definitely help all kinds of athletic performance. Optimize functional movements in daily life. Again, these correlate so much. Carrying your backpack, bending over to pick things up. We had to do a 5 functional movement assignment for Miss Clayton in our group exercise class. One of mine was thinking about getting dishes out of the dishwasher and putting them up in a cabinet. So you have one of your weight plates, pick it up off the ground, put it up. So think about getting dishes out, putting them up. I mean, it's so, like I said, so simple, but it can help so much in your ADLs. Reduce muscle tension. That is simply, and this will kind of coincide with a few of the other ones, the mind and body along with stretching is one of the things that I like, because when you get that oxygen to those muscles, it allows them to relax. Increase range of motion in joints. So think about driving your car and you are looking in your rearview mirror and your side view mirrors and you can't see anything. So if you have a lack of range of motion in your neck, you're not going to be able to look and see if there's someone coming. So just little things like that. And next, increased energy level due to increased circulation. That goes back to the oxygen in the blood, into your muscles, into your brain, just activating all that good stuff. All right, did you guys go over the types of stretching already? Okay, so static is simply extending those target muscle groups to the maximum point and holding them for 30 seconds. Now the important thing about this is you do not want to do this cold, because you'll create little microfiber tears in your muscles, and that's in turn what makes you sore. I remember one of my, I think it was principal's teachers, he had said the one thing that I cannot stand is to see someone come in the gym and automatically start stretching, because they're cold. They get on the treadmill, run for a minute, get on the elliptical, do something, do jumping jacks, do body squats, something to get those muscles activated and get the blood flowing to them before you stretch cold and tear something. There are 2 types. There's active, which that's pretty much you stretching yourself, and then there's passive, where you have a partner or someone else besides you helping you stretch. Dynamic is like a rhythmic pattern for you can do sports performance. I mean, I use that as an example. Think of a football warm-up, when they do the high knees, when they do butt kicks, when they do arm circles, and even draw an alphabet with your ankle. You're moving, but you're still stretching those muscles out. Ballistic, the way I remember this one, I think about a ball and it bounces. So it's just a bouncing, repetitive movement. And this is the one that you kind of want to avoid, because it can cause injury, because you're stretching, and again, those can in turn tear those muscle fibers. Active isolated stretching, or AIS, you can hold these for up to 2 seconds. The article that I read said to do about 10 reps, but I mean, I guess you can really do whatever you're most comfortable with. Each to a degree of resistance exceeding the last, and it activates one muscle group while allowing the other to relax and to stretch. So the example that I have is you lay on your back, you have a rope tied around your foot, extend, and you're going to contract your quads while relaxing your hamstrings, allowing those hamstrings to get a good, nice stretch. And so you pull, 1, 2, release, pull, contract a little bit further than before, release, and so on. And next we have the myofascial release. Who in here plays football or has played football before? I mean, really any sport, but using the foam roller is one good way to have the myofascial release. It relieves tension and improves flexibility in the fascia. Who knows what fascia is? Anybody? Nobody? Oh my gosh. Okay. It's just you know when you see like a cadaver, you see that white kind of slimy looking cover over the muscles? That's what your fascia is. It's just the connective tissue of the covering the underlying muscle. So for this, you want to do small, say this is my foam roller, so I'm going to do my forearm. You want to do small back and forth movements to the pressure. Like if I have a low pain tolerance, so I can't sit there and just grind on it, but I know some people that are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But for me, like I said, my pain tolerance is low, so I don't want so much of that impact of rolling, especially like on your IT band. I know you're shaking your head like, yeah. I know that IT bands tend to be really, really tight, and for me, that's one of my areas. So when I lay on that foam roller and I'm sideways, like, that's one of those things I do not like. But it says to do it for 30 seconds for 2 to 6 increment sections on whichever muscle that you are utilizing. I don't have proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation on here simply because of the name, but what it is, it's usually facilitated by a fitness professional, and it consists of muscle contractions, relaxation, passive stretching through a concentric phase. So, okay, arm up. All right, push up. I'm pushing down, and he's resisting against me. So that's a very small definition of that to me. It's really one that I don't understand.
It's used a lot in physical therapy.
Yes.
If you guys are.
If somebody wants to film for me, I'll show you what it is.
Hey, see?
But you have to lay down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will facilitate as I am a fitness professional.
Remember, y'all forget I'm an athletic trainer. Alright, let's do hamstring. Give me this. I cannot get off the floor. Okay, so if we're doing ENF, the basic kind is this would be a passive stretch, right? I'm moving her. Okay? So I get to about her end point, and then what I would tell her to do, and this is easier if you put like a foot on her shoulder, I'm going to tell her to contract against me, contract her hamstrings and push against me as hard as you can. Push. We're going to hold that for like 10, 15 seconds. Push, push, push. And now she's going to relax. And look how much farther her stretch went. Okay? So technically we could do it again at this end point. I could tell her, okay, do it one more time. Push. Hard as you can. Push against me. Okay, relax. And then we're going to get that much farther of a stretch. Okay? Thank you. You're welcome. So it's words, the action.
Does that help you kind of see it actually happen? Each time we really, I was going to say, we weren't cheating. She was at her end point, but it gets you that much more. But not to be done if you don't know what you're doing. You'll hurt somebody.
Again, that's why I wanted to emphasize my fitness.
Tall guy.
Alright. These are fun. These are just 10 little guidelines that I found on Idea Fit. Think in terms of, and I don't know the order. So first, like I said, warm up first. Do not go in there and stretch cold. Pay special attention to tight areas. For me, again, my T-band, and obviously hamstrings are my tightest areas when we do these things. I mean, I can do it, but that's my tight spot. So that's something that I would want to make sure that I warmed up very well before I started stretching. Consider your activities. So what are you doing? Are you playing a sport? Are you simply going for a jog? What are you doing? So pertain your stretches to the activity that you'll be performing. Listen to your body. I mean, like you said, there's a point where you do your progressive overload, but then there's a point where your body's telling you this hurts. There's a difference between a good hurt and a bad hurt, and I think we all know what that is. Get creative. I love yoga. I like to just mind and body. Some people might like to do dynamic. Some people might like static. Some people might like to stretch with a partner. Do things that get you motivated to want to stretch and to want to increase your flexibility and range of motion. Stretch yourself, mind and body. Again, yoga. Do it consistently. I believe the ACSM is at 5 to 7 times a week.
Yeah.
And really, anytime you are doing an activity, you want to stretch. And it's a great cool down also. Think in terms of serious flexibility training, not just brief stretching. Pretty much everything that I've said. And it's not just for wimps. Like, guys, y'all can do it too. I love when I go by the baseball field and I see guys out there stretching and doing yoga. Like, it makes me happy to know that they're not too big to, we're too tough to stretch. No, that's definitely going to help them not get injured. Okay.
Quick add-in. All right, back to strength. If you don't have full range of motion, do you think you're going to activate the muscles that you can't reach? Are you going to be able to grow those? if you don't have full range of motion, you're not going to be able to hit those either. So it's really important to have flexibility if you're looking to even, muscular train as well too. So, and yoga's good at that also. So just a quick add-in.
Oh, well, there it goes. And we're going to do some yoga here in a second. Well, I had my sources up there, so I did not plagiarize. But are you guys ready to get started on some activity? Y'all can go ahead and put your balls up. We just wanted y'all to be engaged by sitting on the ball.